Hello and welcome to the Plain Bagel. We are back again with another question and answer video. I'm here as always with Craig the cameraman. Say hi, Craig.
Hi.
And I just wanted to quickly thank you guys for all the support and all the questions you keep posting that let us do 9 of these videos. Also, all the topics that you guys have been sending me, I really appreciate it, and it's really helped the channel. Ever since I've done the 10 videos, I've really only based my videos on the feedback I've gotten, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And let's just jump into the first question.
Mike W. asks, not sure if you've covered this. I wonder if you could talk about inflation and its effects on student loans and mortgages. Or perhaps this is a stupid idea to discuss. Apologize if you've already covered this already.
No stupid questions, Mike. And it's actually a very interesting topic because it's actually very important in the world of credit and loans and things like that. Inflation actually transfers wealth or value from creditors to borrowers. So the reason for that is when you take out a loan, let's say you take out a $10,000 loan, that amount that you need to pay back, that $10,000 is fixed. So let's say we have no inflation and 10 years pass and I finally pay back that $10,000 loan. That's great. That company, that lender got back their $10,000 of real $10,000 of real value, I guess. Now, if there's an inflation rate though, what happens is that $10,000 is worth less by the time it reaches the creditor in 10 years. And what that means is that I'm paying less real value back after 10 years. So because that $10,000 has lost value with a 2% inflation or even 1% inflation, I'm technically paying back less on a real basis. So it's really interesting and actually a very important topic in the world of loans and credit because the creditors will take that inflation rate into account when they set their interest rates. If inflation is expected to be higher, or if there's expected to be inflation, which there almost always is, they'll adjust their interest rates by a certain amount so that they're compensated for the inflation of the loan. There are also some loans that will adjust for inflation and things like that, but for a fixed loan, inflation actually transfers wealth from a creditor to the borrower.
Pursuit of Freedom asks, my question is, where do you go to find a company's cash flow information?
It's tough when you don't work in the field because people in the field have tools that make it very easy to access that information. For example, I have access to a data terminal, so I can type in a formula and pull up a company's cash flow from 2017 or whatever very quickly. But if you don't have those tools, there are still alternatives that you can use. There are websites. We had Walmart actually as a sponsor recently. They have a website that you can go to and access company information for free. Morningstar, Yahoo Finance, those are all free websites that you can find a lot of companies' information on. And there's also regulatory websites. There's Edgar, which is the US regulatory website, and Cedar, which is the Canadian regulatory website. And that's where you can find the actual filings from companies. So the original documents that the numbers are being pulled from, you can find the PDFs of those on those 2 websites. The Cedar one is really outdated and really hideous compared to the Edgar one, but it does the job. And like I said, you can find all the PDFs of a company's filings, and you can usually find filings on the company's actual website. So most public companies will have an investor relations tab on their website. You can go there and find their filings there as well. So that's where you will find the cash flow information as well as the balance sheet, income statement, whatever you're looking for.
Please put up a screenshot of Cedar.
I will. I don't get it. I don't get the aesthetic.
They've never needed to improve. So
I guess, but it's just so hideous. What is that gear that's popping out? I don't understand.
On the cash flow video, H-Man asks, will a lot of this be reflected in the balance sheet as well?
Yes, and actually all the financial statements, there's actually 4 of them. So the balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, and the shareholders' equity statement, they're all interconnected, and a change in one will typically be reflected in the others. So a great example is, cash flow, like you mentioned. Cash flow is a derivative of net income. So if you see net income go up, you'll typically see cash flow go up. It's also tied to the balance sheet because if accounts receivable goes down, meaning that account receivables have been received, then cash flow will go up as well. So yes, they're all connected. It's very hard to kind of summarize how they're connected, but the numbers do all tie to one another.
Zvetko Tsenkov asks, can you please explain how to value a company that loses money and there are not many other comparable public companies? Lyft, for example. Great videos, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Svetko. To value a company that doesn't make money, first of all, I don't have a whole lot of experience in that area. I'll be upfront about that. But my understanding is that what you'll typically do is there are two approaches. One is to do an absolute valuation. So to actually project when that company is going to start making money and make forecasts for what their income is going to be. It's a very complicated form of analysis. You take the revenue estimates, you take margin estimates, and you use that to calculate the net income estimates. You can tie it to the balance sheet and all the other cash statements to figure out where the company is going to be in 5 years based on all your estimates, and then use that to do a discounted cash flow model to actually come to a dollar value for that company. What I find a lot more people do is they'll focus more on the multiples. Multiples don't work with negative values, which is why price to sales is a common one that's used for companies that are making money. But again, it's a very rough estimate, and what you would want to do is compare that to other growth companies as well. So even though Lyft might not have a directly comparable company, you could look at another startup, the company that recently IPO'd, that's growing at the same levels and possibly has the same margins, and use that to try and figure out what the stock should be worth.
Frank Garcia asks, opinion on Robo Investford? Opinion on Robo Investford? Why is that word so hard?
Struggling.
I said Svetko Senkov perfectly every time, but...
Yeah, you're killing the names, but the robo investing. Yikes.
Opinion on robo investors? Wealthfront, Betterment, Wise Banyan, etc.?
Yeah, I think robo-advisors are a really cool, innovation that's happened in the field, and they offer a great solution. The thing that's great about robo-advisors is they help smaller investors get a fully diversified portfolio. It's great for beginners because there is very little work involved. You literally put your money in and it does rebalancing, it takes care of the portfolio, and you're diversified. So that's all great. The one gripe I have with it is that a robo-advisor is really not a great title for it. It should be kind of a robo-account or a robo-investment portfolio, because you don't get advice typically from a robo-advisor. There are some support lines and things like that, but it's not the one-on-one someone really understanding your financial situation and being able to give you tax advice, estate advice. Because it's so standardized and uniform, it's really hard to get kind of one-on-one advice from a robo-advisor. Some people have kind of argued that it will eventually replace advisors. I don't think that's the case because, again, it is pretty lacking when it comes to actual advice. But yeah, it's a really unique and kind of cool field of investing that I'm sure will evolve further in the future. And that's all the questions we have. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you have a question you want me to cover in a future video, make sure to leave a comment down below and I will do my best to get to it. If I can't answer it in a video, I will at least try to leave a comment, reply to the question. Make sure to like and subscribe, and as always, thanks for joining me today.